Max here. Marla Exter.
Here.
Chuck Lighting.
Here.
Andrew Bell. Here. Paul Maxey. Tom Manning.
Here.
Terry Forte.
Here.
Township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes, and recording is destroyed 6 months after the minutes are approved. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 2 minutes unless such time is extended by the chairman for other calls. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors will provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed, but prior to adjournment of the public meeting, adopted 1/30/18. So I want to move on to the approval of the minutes. February 26th, 2019, and we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. March 6th, can I have a motion?
So moved. Sorry.
I'll move.
Second.
Any questions? Can we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
I just want to thank our new note taker for doing such a great job. Thank you. It's made life a lot easier for all of us.
Thank you. Administrative actions. Approval to pay March invoices and accept treasurer's report.
Yeah, simply, Mr. Chairman, it's my recommendation that you approve the March invoices and our treasurer's report.
Do you have a motion?
Also move.
I'll second.
Any questions? We have a vote? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment on agenda items. Do you have any public comment on the agenda items? Bob, want to come
Bob
forward?
Burns.
Off?
Denverville Road. I want to bring to the board a petition that I circulated in reference to the Zieglerville Road parking, along with areas throughout both townhouse communities. I have 123 signatures that were obtained over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to give a copy of that to Terry so he can.
What's it say?
What's that?
What's it say?
You want to read all that? Yeah. Petition to the Board of Supervisors to allow parking on Zieglerville Road in front of the Sear Hill Townhomes and install signs and striping as required. Also install striping throughout both townhouse communities, including center lines, edge lines, stop bars, parking stalls, etc. And all signage required. This will help with public safety for our residents and speeding and traffic calming. So there's 123 signatures that were obtained for that. And I saw that you have on the agenda the Zieglerville Road, I believe it's under Carroll, and then also under Tommy with the speed tables.
Yes.
So the striping and whatnot would kind of coincide with that as well.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Cobble Park, Township Engineer.
Thank you. So, can everybody see the screen over here, the image, projector? A brief presentation on Cobble Park tonight. Cobble Park is located on the west corner of the intersection of Gravel Pike and Little Road. It includes some recreational facilities, a basketball court, a playground, a pavilion, a walking trail, a small parking lot, and some ball fields. Cobble Park was initially created from 2 parcels. A parcel here and a parcel here. Public Works uses a portion of this property for equipment and material storage in the township garage. The history here is that in 1980, Lower Frederick Township used a grant to purchase one of the two parcels that created Copel Park. The parcel in yellow right here. The grant was from the Pennsylvania Department of Community Affairs through the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Under that grant, no part of the property that was purchased with the grant money can be used for anything other than outdoor recreation. And that's in perpetuity. Well, about 20 years later, a maintenance building was built for the Public Works Department. And a portion of this structure is located on the property that was originally purchased using the LWCF grant. 16 years later, DCNR did a routine inspection and noted the location of the structure in relation to the grant parcel. The township was advised that this was a partial conversion of land, in the federal government's language, and a violation of regulations. We got a notice in 2016. The township received a notice from DCNR about this. So how do we fix this problem? How does it get resolved? Well, first, the township had to complete a minor subdivision that took this away from this parcel and added this, essentially a swap, so that the maintenance facilities wouldn't be within the LWCF grant parcel. Then, the township had to put land into the program that was of equal or greater value and not already used for public recreation. So, here's the lot line adjustment, or the swap that we talked about. This was actually a plan that was approved by the Board of Supervisors. We took that off and added it to this parcel, and then we took that and we added it to this parcel. So it was done as a minor subdivision plan, and that's since been recorded. But because the area here that was added to the grant parcel was already used for recreation, it didn't satisfy the LWCF replacement area requirement. Replacement lands had to be land that is not already used for recreation, land that's suitable for public recreation, and land that can be permanently preserved for recreation. Where do we find that, right? Well, you happen to have a subdivision proposal before the township in recent years, and this proposal, which is now called the Arcadia Project, has proposed open space. There's an open space A. I'm going to go back on here. Just to orient everybody, this is Zieglerville Road, curves into Main Street. This is Schwenk Road, and this is the open space A parcel we're going to be talking about right here. So open space A at Arcadia Station is proposed to be used as the replacement area to address this requirement. It's located at the northern corner of Schwenk and Zieglerville Roads. It will be restricted from any use other than outdoor recreation. It's walkable from both the new Arcadia Station development and the nearby townhouse developments via existing sidewalks and proposed sidewalks, accessible ramps and road crossings that are being completed as part of this development. We have contacted the LWCF folks, and they've indicated that this will be acceptable as a replacement area. So the partial conversion proposal application must now be submitted for formal approval. So the approval process involves preparing an application with a detailed proposal, plans, environmental screenings, plan compliance details, agency and public comments, and property value details. That gets submitted to the DCNR for review. They make a recommendation to the National Park Service, and following Park Service approval, the township can accept ownership of the replacement parcel for recreational use. Planning agencies have already been provided the opportunity to comment on the proposal. Comments of support were obtained from the DVRPC, the Montgomery County Planning Commission, a little error there with the lettering, sorry, Lower Frederick Township Planning Commission, and the PHMC has determined that there would be no impact to historic structures. The next step is actually a property appraisal. The value of the replacement property must meet or exceed the value of the converted property. Valuation must be performed by a PA certified appraiser. We can't just tell them what we think it should be. And Lower Frederick needs to contract with an appraiser to evaluate both properties so that we can finalize this application. The application process also requires that the public be allowed to comment on the proposal in a public meeting. Here we are tonight. So any comments made here will be included in the meeting minutes and submitted with the application. If anybody has any comments to share, this would be the appropriate time. That's the end of my presentation tonight.
Do we have any questions? Warren, come forward.
Warren Jacobs, Fulton Road. So we didn't find out that the lot line change didn't meet the requirements until after it was already done?
No, we had to do the lot line change to remove the public works from the parcel that is under the deed restriction from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And we had to do this swap where we give them land. We have to do both.
We knew from the beginning that we would have to get something from outside the whole park to use.
Yes.
Okay.
But we also had to do both steps. We were required by, it's the bureaucracy of it, we were required to do both.
The other question I have, I mean, it's what you've done here, I mean, making lemonade and all that, but something I'd like to ask is, how do we avoid having these kind of problems in the future? I mean, that's not the only time that this has been done. We had the problem with building on Floyd Park outside of the deed restrictions that were on that property. Is there a way that we can put something in place so that before we go ahead and build infrastructure in our parks, we make sure that we're conforming to the deeds? It's something that's been a failure in the past. I mean, any suggestions?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know a simple
We're
answer.
moving forward with that for the future.
Well, I think the township's taking steps in that direction by having continuity. Had continuity with Carol being here for a period of time with the, no offense to Terry, but with the process that the township has undergone to hire a permanent manager that will help in those circumstances.
Yeah, but one of the problems is, in the real world, you don't have continuity.
It helps to have good records. I agree.
So, I mean, you have something in place, procedures.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Mr. Jacobs. We rely somewhat on institutional memory to avoid these types of problems. And when the people in the township change and evolve, some of that institutional memory is lost, and these things happen. So I think we're getting wiser and wiser. Saying we as the general public are getting more and more wise about going back and looking at plans and looking at deeds than maybe we were 20 years ago or 30 years ago. But here we stand today, and we're working to resolve this problem. So this is the process the DCNR has put forth for resolving the problem. And we're at the point now where we're almost through this process, but we need to deal with the appraisals so that we can finish the process and file it. And then, of course, the land in Open Space A would not be accepted by the township until all the improvements have been made by the developer and it's ready for dedication.
In my short time here, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I found it rather challenging to understand the history of a particular issue, getting my hands on files that allow me to understand what the story was of a particular development, let's say. So it doesn't actually surprise me that something like this is missed, okay? The new manager is going to have his or her work cut out for them to start to pull everything together. I know the information is there in the building, okay, in different places. So just a comment.
Bob, you want to come forward?
Sure. Bob Burns, Centerville Road. Carol, as far as the appraisal is concerned, will that appraisal be after the work is done? I mean, will it show the value of the work that's going to be done by the developer, or is it going to show what the field looks like right now without it being?
Well, that appraisal would be done now, and it would be based on the value of the field as open space, is my understanding, but that's really not my area of expertise. I don't feel comfortable giving you definitive answers on that. But there's an appraisal that's done by a certified appraiser, and my understanding is that he does it based on the value of land as open space, since this is now recorded in a subdivision plan as restricted for open space.
Yeah, I was just questioning because, you know, the field's going to be regraded, there's going to be trees added, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up, I don't know if it's the right time to bring it up or not, but Warren did a presentation at the Planning Commission just recently, and he brought up about how the trees should be planted and whatnot. So I wanted to ask the board and yourself, is there any way that we can go to Metropolitan and say, hey, look, however many trees are on that parcel, can we plant them ourselves? Can we deduct the money from the escrow, have that turned over to the township, and then the township control planting those trees after they regrade the whole field and it's all, you know, all but ready to go? That way we have control over what kind of trees are being planted and whether or not, you know, they're going to be done, hopefully, the way Warren had showed us the other day, instead of just left on their hands. Because once they dedicate it to us, it's our problem. Anything that's on the homeowners association side, they would have to replace. So, you know, if we get some bad stock, bad trees, or whatever the case may be.
All right, I'll take that under advisement. That's a sort of a different topic than we're on right now, but thank you, Mr. President.
Dan?
Dan Worth, Gratz Road. This is similar to Warren's question. Do parks get built in a different fashion than other property is developed? Because normally if somebody wanted to build a structure on a vacant lot, they would have to go through a procedure that would tell them the structure they were building was placed inappropriately. And this is the second park that has had a structure placed inappropriately. So I was just curious, do these projects go through a different process than, say, somebody who's trying to develop a single lot? I'm just confused. I understand going forward.
I think to make it easier,
Yeah.
these buildings were built years past.
Okay.
That probably the board that was here did not check into it, or it's a new thing that come up.
Right.
That you can't do it. So they contacted us, and now we have to make it right. I mean, now that we're into the 20th century, a lot of people now know a lot about this stuff. Laws have changed.
So if we were to go to that park, I'm trying to remember, on Colonial Road, say, there's a big park that's looking for, decide we're going to put up a structure. We meaning the collective of Frederick Township. What steps occur now that didn't happen in the past that would not get us in trouble with one of the laws associated with how we got that property? That's the question I'm asking. I know the past, things done 20 years ago, a lot of times, it is. So that's sort of where I'm going, is how to make sure this doesn't happen.
Excuse me.
Well,
What's your last name?
Orf, O-R-F, like Frank.
at this point, the county planning committee, that was county money, as I recall, for Colonial Park, a county open space grant, and the county planning commission would be involved and aware of any development plans that go on at that park and have opportunity to comment. That in conjunction with stopping and looking at the deed and whether there are any deed restrictions, both of those would likely generate the kind of information that you're concerned might get missed.
Mr. Chairman, to follow up on the engineer's thoughts on this, the next step would be to get an appraisal as regards to the use of the property. The last couple land use deals I've been involved in, to get appraisals anywhere from about $5,000 to $8,000, multiple acres. Here we're talking about a few acres. But also with the program that's involved here, the authorities, you can use a streamlined form if the value of the property, either the property, is under $25,000. So I contacted an appraiser through my work before. He was able to give a price, if we're able to do it in a streamlined fashion, for each of the two properties of $1,500. So if the board would like to move forward, now with that would be a motion to authorize Craig Gleason, Gleason, to perform the two restricted use appraisals in an amount of $1,500.
Carol, did we use this one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Belvoir is correct.
Do we want to make a motion on that?
Also move.
I'll second.
Any questions? A vote?
Aye.
Carol, since you're still there, we'll have the township engineer report.
Thank you. The first item on my report is the materials, an update on the materials and equipment bids. The 2019 bids for both materials and equipment were opened on February 27th. The township received 2 bids for equipment. Sachs and Sons is the lowest responsible bidder. Their total base bid of $64,120 was lower than the bid by PK Moyer at $70,950. The board has been provided a bid tabulation and a letter of recommendation. And that letter recommends bid award to Sachs and Sons Incorporated as the lowest responsible bidder. The materials bids were rejected for discrepancies, and that's out for bid again. Bids for materials are due April 18th. Bids,
Sorry, there was something missing from that first bid, was the down?
yes, and my letter of recommendation details it. The discrepancy that required us to delay recommendation was that the bid bond did not appear on PennBid when I opened the bids. PennBid investigated, and a technician with PennBid located the bid bond that had been uploaded by Sachs and Sons. They provided us a letter to that effect to confirm it, in addition to providing the uploaded bid bond. So that has all been cleared, and it leaves me in a position to recommend to the board that Sachs and Sons is the lowest.
And on the second bid, there was also something missing.
The second bid